Okay, so I have a friend who's now I've got apparently addicted to Kerbal Space Program, playing the demo, and I wanted to show him that it is possible to get to the moon using only stock parts. So I'm going to time accelerate this and let's see what I come up with. All right, ready, go! All right, so this is a well, what I would call a simple rocket. um, so you have two different sets of landing legs, which give you a nice, good wide base. The one thing I don't like about this design is that you have to use this fuel to also return, not just land. So hopefully you still have some of the center tank here um, to deorbit the moon and stuff like that. These are essentially retro rockets. I like these because they give you a little bit of boost. All these engines light at the same time. These will drop away first, then these, leaving the centerpiece. So you hope to get to space using just this set here, get into orbit using this set here, and then get to the moon and deorbit the moon with that set here. And then these tanks will be enough to get you home. So we'll find out if it works. So we'll save, go to the launch pad. And so the first thing you want to do with any rocket, well, is first let it buffer, essentially, and the frames have dropped to near nothing. Give it about, what is that, the 2/3 throttle. T to turn on the SAS, and then we're going to see if it'll lift off the ground when I press spacebar, which it does. And so I'm going to go ahead and ramp these up to 100% because I'm not concerned about fuel consumption right now. I do want to check staging though. So first thing is if you right click on it, it should tell you if that tank is emptying, which that stage is. So next. And so next tank to empty would be that one, and it is. So we're going to press X to kill the engines, pop the next stage, power up. It actually looks like we're still gaining altitude with that abort button. I'm going to have to try that next. So, and then that should break away everything but the inner stage, which is not going to be enough to sustain our altitude. Yep, it's starting to fall down. And so we will break that away. And then I have this double stage, so you can double tap it there. But what's fun to do with this is, since it was staged, I'm going to go ahead and pop the gear. So I'm at like 1,000 feet. I'm going to tilt it over and then practice the landing. So my staging works. I'll reduce my speed a little bit and try to get away. So you can build just this part. You can build it in 3 or 4. Either one works. 3 works just a little bit better with the descent part of it. So I'm falling pretty good. I'm at 1,000 feet. I'm going to raise my throttle here. Start to tilt back so I can stop my surface momentum. And I'm really falling now. And you also have to consider when you're building rockets, it doesn't necessarily have to lift off on Kerbin in order to work, because the gravity on the moon is 1/8, or at least that's of our moon, is 1/8 the gravity of the planetoid. And so, like I said, I like to long shoot my landings until I get to be about that close. I start to zoom in. Oop, I'm about to gain some altitude. So control, lower your throttle gently. I try to land between 5 and 0. And then I'm like just above the surface. Yep, you can see, and then X gets the engines, and I'm out. So from the demo, EVA, and we're going to deploy the leg landers, do a simulated moon stop. So you can see that's how it works. Guy falls down. F to regrab. F to get back in. So it would be a simulated takeoff. We would then immediately roll and pull up the gear on the moon. And so you can hit R, brings up the RCS. And this thing has quite a bit of RCS. You can actually use that to maneuver and land a little bit on the moon. You can't use it in atmosphere. It doesn't work as much. As you'll notice, I'm going to drop tanks now, and I don't have enough speed. So we're going to pop the parachute now, and that would be a successful flight. As you can see, I'm under parachute now, under the moon, so that's a successful test. So I want to cancel in-flight, restart flight. Now I want to see what the F and the abort button does. So, abort. Apparently that doesn't do anything. Alright, so we'll make this a trip. So, once you get off the launch pad, you want to turn right towards 90, right here, and leave it about there. Slow the roll a little bit. Make sure I still gain altitude even at that reduced throttle. These engines you don't have to worry about overheating. And so that first stage is burned out. So we will eject it. And it didn't affect anything too much, so we're good. As we now burn through our next stage. Oh, I gotta bump up the throttle. I'm losing. There it goes. In the full version, there are some engines that will overheat. I don't think any of these engines will. So as we continue to lose fuel, so I installed these cross beams here, or these fuel cross feeds. So it'll drain out of these tanks and keep these tanks topped off. So that way I'm getting lots of engine power here, which is good for getting moving. And then we can drop them right as they cease to be useful. So right now, the next set. Okay, a few explosions, still got everything I need. And we're going up. So press the M button to bring up the map. I can tell that this will not break orbit. So we're going to continue to burn this fuel, because this is my get to and orbit fuel. This is the fuel I need to keep for getting to the moon. It looks like I'm not going to be successful this time. Maybe. So once that hits about 65,000 or greater than 70,000, you can start slowing down and tilting farther over. Go ahead and start slowing that down so you get more efficient burns and start to tilt it over. Then I got my 70,000 apoapsis. And so you're going to be the most efficient burning from about here to there. So I'm tilting it over. And locked. And powered back up. And if you press this button here, you can actually stay in this view and control your rocket. But you cannot see how much fuel is left in your tanks. The closer you burn to the horizon, the more efficient you're going to be. So, crap. Now that I'm in space, that RCS thrusters are very, very efficient. I still have lots of fuel. Just hope it's enough. Like I said, this design could be better. I'm going to speed up a little bit. So I'm nearing apoapsis, and now I'm going to just balls to the wall. And now I'm falling. I'm not going to get this damn thing in orbit, am I? I have such trouble with this. May not be the best person to help you with this. So, I am burning. You can see this line just slowly starting to eke out. One minute burn. So that's what you can use to kind of gauge where you are. and if what you're doing is going to work. I don't think I'm going to get this thing. Well, maybe. Might get it into orbit. I'm not going to have enough fuel. Ugh, this is frustrating. What's my altitude now? So that will have to be good enough. I'm going to lose some altitude because I'm still in a bit of atmosphere. So what I'm going to do is kill that, find the moon. It's best to add a maneuver here, and we'll see if I can't hit the moon. No, I'm going to be behind it. So I need to add a maneuver here, which is going to be the least efficient. Well, yeah. So, as you see that purple thing came up, that's going to be my intercept. So there's just the moon, not Minimus. So that's going to put me... let's try adding the maneuver there. See if that gives me a better outcome. Nope. I'd have to add it later. Or... don't want to add a maneuver there. Alright, pull it back. So that would be good. That burn is too long. Alright, well, we will give it a try. So, now that I have a destination burn... Oh, gotta unlock. There's now a blue icon on here, which is... my burn vector. Alright. We will speed up time just a touch. And in T minus 26 minutes, we will get back to it. So, be right back.